Welcome to another DorkLair collecting video. Today I'm going to take a look at the latest pre-order from Four Horsemen Studios, the Mythic Legion's Horror of Einsamall wave. So this direct pre-order window will run for about a month, July 2nd to August 3rd, after which on August 4th, the retail pre-orders will begin. Now I do not know the retail prices exactly. I have some estimates that I'll share with you, but with a lot of new pricing on these figures, it's hard to say exactly what the retail is going to be. Is it going to like standard figures going to remain that $50? Are they going to bump it up to like 52? That remains to be seen, but we'll know soon enough, and the estimates will give you a good sense of whether you should order direct or if you should wait. And I'll have a few little details at the end about like the pros and cons of each one of those. So in this wave, we have essentially 5 standard priced figures. I'm calling them standard price because I'm kind of assuming that that's the new standard. It's a $42 standard. The old standard was $37, so a $5 increase. Unless maybe I'm wrong and maybe they're going to do, some figures that will just vary in price, and sometimes they'll be 37, sometimes they'll be 40, sometimes 42, I'm not sure. But we got 5 of those figures. The first one is a 1.0 scale figure. Then we have a 2.0 scale figure. Then we have a 3.0 scale figure, which is not really 3.0 scale. It's 3.0 build, because it is in the same scale and it is compatible with the 1.0 figures. But it is in those top 3 are those like 6 to 7 inch figures. And then we have 2 Imp Scale figures that are this brand new scale. They're very tiny. They're like half scale, halfling scale. They're calling it Imp Scale. And there's a gnome and a little critter guy. And then we have 3 different ones. We have a deluxe creature with the polar bear style version of Bodvar. We have an ogre scale werewolf. I gotta say right off the bat, I love that head sculpt. And then we have a sausage accessory set. So it's got some sausages, and then it's got a few other accessories that are pretty cool with it. So that leaves us with 8 total items, 7 total figures, plus an accessory set. Starting off with the 3, 6 to 7 inch figures, we have Halvard of Frothvar, Commander Igraine, and Jakul Ironbones. So Halvard of Frothvar is part of the adventure party sent north from the Castle of Four Sides. He's a member of the House of the Noble Bear, total Viking style character, lots of cloth goods, whole bunch of accessories, multiple heads, lots of different hands. We have the amazing photography from Trevor Williams, 1/6 shooter here in the frigid north. And Commander Igraine is the leader of that adventure party sent north. Super heroic looking member of the Order of Etheron. This is a 2.0 style figure, so you have the thinner figures like the elves, and many of the female characters are on this kind of body. Reuses some parts from the Rising Suns wave. And, we've got the torch there. She's got multiple head sculpts. I love that new sword. So a lot of good stuff going on with this figure. And my favorite part about it is just the way the layering works with the fur on the top there. And then you have the belt with the cloth goods underneath. It just gives it this really heroic silhouette. There is one little piece in the accessory loadout that I think some people were wondering about. It is this little clasp looking thing, this little square piece, that if you take a look at the Exiles Under the Mountain 2-pack and look at Dagna Stormforger, you'll see that that is a brooch or clasp that kind of like holds that fur collar piece together, and it gives it a little decoration, a little depth to it. So that's what that piece is. You can kind of see it right there. And of course we have Trevor's incredible photograph here with Igraine in the frozen north. And then the last of the 6 to 7 inch figures, in fact, this is one that goes up over the 7 inch range, up to like 7.5 inches, Jakul Ironbones. This is an orc, frost orc, on the new 3.0 body, which is compatible somewhat with the 1.0 body and is roughly the same size as the 1.0 bodies, but it's got all that new articulation and stuff. So we got multiple head sculpts here. It's reusing that orc head from the Shadow Orc. And then he's got a bunch of like bone kind of weapons. Some of those weapons are from Cosmic Legions, in fact. But yeah, so there's a look at the figure. And you can kind of, when you get up close with that alternate look, you can see a lot of the new articulation points, the butterfly joints, the bicep swivel, the double elbows, and so on. So we're getting some new articulation there that was initially revealed in the Reign of the Beasts wave. One of my favorite photos that Trevor did for this whole series is the cavern photo of Jakul on his throne, I guess. So super cool stuff there. And then we have the Imp Scale figures. So this is a brand new scale. These are two brand new figures, top to bottom, all new sculpture, everything. I mean, there might be a little bit of reuse, like some of the heads and stuff, but like these are tiny little like 4-inch figures. Burris Burgastory and Byler Frostfur. So Burris Burgastory is a gnome, again, really small figure. Based on Curtis Ackerman. Go check out Art by Ackerman. Amazing channel, amazing guy. He is the mayor. I'm calling him the mayor from now on. And Burris Burgastory is the mayor of Einsamall, and he's the one who actually sent the message south to seek assistance from the Castle of Four Sides. So he's cool because he comes with this big barrel. Like it's probably just as big as him. It's a beer barrel. He is the proprietor of the public house and a seller of lager. So he comes with his own barrel of beer. A few other cool accessories. And he's got that alternate frost goblin head sculpt, which totally transforms this figure, because that beard covers that torso. And so you don't really see it until you put that goblin head on there. And which this means is that there is one compatibility that is pretty much guaranteed. And that is that 2.0 heads like goblins and stuff should fit on this little body. But yeah, Burris Burgastory, and there's a great shot, him standing on his barrel, shot by Trevor Williams, 1/6 shooter. And then we have Byler Frostfur, who is a Vulpine, this little critter character. He's a tracker, also like pretty much a native to the north. They don't even see this race in Mythos necessarily. He's got that alternate head to make him into a Thistlethorn type character. Comes with a little his these little figures. It's nice that they come with these diorama pieces because they're so small. It's going to give you the sense that it's got that same value, even though the figure itself is very expensive to create because of all of the tooling and all of the parts. I mean, these little guys have double jointed knees. There's a lot that going on here, just as much as a large figure. It's just the total amount of plastic is less. But to add to the value, they put in these, basic diorama pieces. So he comes with a campfire, super cool stuff here, backpack, frying pan, and so on. And then again, him cooking up something in his pan, maybe some sausages, who knows? And here's a look at the scale. So you can see, like, he truly is half the size of the standard figure and even a lot smaller than one of the dwarfs. And you can kind of see multiple figures from this wave in this shot here with the ogre scale wolf in the back there. So these are the 5 standard figures that are, I'm calling them standard, like standard pricing, like kind of like your regular $40-ish figures. These are all $42. They said that the retail price for these will be about 25% more. So put them at about $52. Maybe they'll keep them at that $50, that usual $50 price for retail. I'm not totally sure, but I'm just guessing right now, 52, maybe 50 to 54, somewhere in that range, depending on how they go with it. 55 max, I would say. But we'll see what that ends up being. And then we have the accessory set. This is really cool. We got another barrel. We have some frothing mugs of beer, and those little froth tops come out of there. It's got a tap for the barrel. Comes with a frying pan, a pickaxe, a little stand for the barrel, and some food items, and of course the sausages. So kind of joking earlier about this being a sausage accessory set that comes with extra stuff. It actually comes with a lot of stuff. This is a pretty loaded accessory set. And this one is $25 direct, probably going to be around 30-ish retail. And then we have the deluxe creature from the wave, Isbjorn the polar bear. And this is a mount. It does have a saddle because this is the mount that belongs to Jakul, the frost orc. And at one point in the storyline, the members of the you know, the party trying to hunt and figure out who's killing people in Einsamall, they actually suspect that it is the polar bear. It turns out not to be the polar bear, but there he is. He's got that new head sculpt that, you know, it transforms this body, even though it's, you know, this is definitely more of like a grizzly bear body than a polar bear body, but it does transform it and does a good job of creating this kind of like, you know, Mythic Legion's version of a polar bear here. Very cool stuff. I really love all the intricate paintwork on that saddle. And it also comes with the grizzly bear head to make it like a frost grizzly kind of thing, just to add a little value to the set. They said they would just like repaint that and put that in there. So pretty cool stuff. And then of course, Trevor Williams capturing that character on that face. I really love the head sculpt on here. It totally transforms this body into something totally different. And so Isborn is $80 direct. Now, they said most of the figures would be 25% more at retail. I'm basing this is more than 25% more, it's 50% more, but I'm basing this on the fact that that Bodvar was 80 direct and 120 retail. So this may, I don't know, maybe they'll drop the price retail, but I'm guessing that this will be 80 direct and 120 retail, even though it doesn't match what they said about it being like 25% difference. But yeah, I'm guessing it'll be the same as Bodvar. And then we get into the star of the show, the actual threat here. This is the werewolf, Garmir, the horror of Einsamall. This is what has been ravaging the people, and they come out and they see it, you know, in combat with that polar bear. And they realize, okay, now we know what it was, and this thing is massive. This is ogre scale. This thing is huge. It's I love that head sculpt. He's armored up. There's a mystery as to like who put that armor on him, why he has chains and shackles as if he's been captive. So there's more story to tell about like the nature of this beast, this creature. I love the fact that they went to ogre scale for the werewolf. Like, I had been under the assumption this whole time that if they did a werewolf, they would do it on the 3.0, you know, kind of like 7-inch body that the cackler, the jackal cackler character is on. But I am actually pretty pumped. One of my favorite figures from this past Reign of the Beast wave is Leodicius. So seeing this guy with that Leodicius body really it gets me excited. I was thinking like they would use that Leodicius body to make like a Yeti or something, but this werewolf is awesome, and this head sculpt is perfect in my opinion. It just kind of like really captures the essence of a werewolf. He's got the tail there. I think they improved some of the articulation on his body already beyond what they did for Leodicius. So this is going to be pretty sweet. This is also $80. And now the Leodicius figure is 100. So even though the bear is 80 direct, 120 retail, Leodicius was 80 direct, 100 retail. So I kind of suspect that this will also be 100 retail. So there's your whole wave. You've got 7 figures, an accessory set, a couple big, huge guys, a couple little guys, a lot of good variety here. I think this is a tight wave. Like I feel like the response is super positive. I've seen a lot of people really excited for this one. Not a lot of people like saying, hey, that one sucks, or that there's a miss, or you know, that kind of stuff. So I think this is just like one of those solid waves and really good storytelling here. The total, if you add up the individual items, is $395. But if you actually buy them all in the singular all-in item, you get $20 off, and it's $375. And if you were to buy them at retail or at a con, you're talking probably about $500. Again, I don't really have the exact prices for retail, but like it's probably gonna be around between like $480 and $510, somewhere in that range by my calculations. And then here's a look at the whole wave together. Really good looking wave. I think there's just a lot of variety. I think that this wave, I think somebody on the stream even said, you know, like this wave would look really cool just on a shelf by itself. Whereas a lot of people organize their collection by faction. This, like if you organized by wave, this would be a super strong shelf. Okay. Let me just wrap this up by saying, that, you know, you got to decide if you're going to go direct or retail. My basic suggestion is if you're going to buy like one figure, just wait for retail. If you're going to buy a bunch of figures, buy direct. If you're in between that, like 2 or 3, it's kind of a push. It's kind of a hard decision. But here's, the differences between retail and direct. I kind of do this every time we do one of these breakdown videos. So direct all in $375, retail all in $500. So obviously, if you're going all in, direct is going to be, even when you add in shipping, direct is going to be the way to go. Direct is pay now, retail is pay later. So depending on how you approach things, if you want to wait, like I know there's a lot of people who are like, I cannot put my money down on something now that's not going to come out for, 18 months or whatever. Like I just can't do it. Then just go to retail and order your stuff from retail, because then you pay later. Another difference is that like direct, it's calculated shipping. Oftentimes when it's retail, you get a free or flat rate shipping, like $4 at BBTS, or a lot of places they'll offer just free shipping. So that's another one to factor in. If you live somewhere far away, like you're on the West Coast, you might want to play around with the shipping on the direct site on Four Horsemen and just see like what it is and like calculate out your price per figure, and then think about like, oh, is there a retailer that will ship to me for free? To me, one of the biggest advantages of ordering direct is you get the earlier shipment, especially if you get an all-in. It's pretty much always the first thing that goes out. So if you order direct, you will have your figures a lot earlier. I saw a lot of people who ordered retail, All-Star 6, just flat out paying aftermarket prices for stuff because the retail stuff is a little ways off. And it's like, why, like, just order direct, because if you're that type of person who really wants that stuff in hand early, which I get the appeal, obviously as a YouTuber, I get that appeal. If you want it early, order direct. Anyway, that'll do it for my video. Thanks for watching. Until next time, may the force be with you.